Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. Labour MP Damien O'Connor accused Israel of genocide in the House of Parliament today.
He went on to say, and I quote, "We were appalled by what happened in the 1940s, the Holocaust. How then can a nation impose that on another race of people?"
His comments came as the new government stopped short of calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, instead calling for urgent steps towards one. Political editor Jenna Lynch reports.
Newshub is an Israeli Jew. Today she joined hundreds on the forecourt of New Zealand's parliament.
Yeah, it's very touching to see people around the world that they care.
She just turned 18 and when she leaves New Zealand she'll return to Israel and go to war.
Obviously it scares me because, everyone, the idea if they're in danger right now, but I feel like it's important and it's my role as an Israeli and an 18-year-old who lives in Israel, a Jew, to serve my country.
The conflict drew loud crowds supporting either side in Wellington today. The pro-Israeli contingent beefed up by Destiny Church head Brian Tamaki's supporters, who performed a rousing haka following his speech. The depth of feeling spilling inside the House.
It brings tears to my eyes. It drives me to rage, to think what we can do as human beings to one another.
In response to the government's motion calling for urgent steps toward a ceasefire.
Unequivocally condemn the Hamas terrorist attack on 7 October 2023 and call for the release of all hostages. Call on all parties involved in the conflict, as well as countries with influence in the region, to take urgent steps towards establishing a ceasefire.
Labour calling on the government to go further and call for an immediate ceasefire.
A call to an end to this depravity, this genocide, this slaughter. That's what it is, and I call upon Israel, a nation that has been set up and seeks sympathy and support because of the Holocaust and the outrageous outcomes. I call on that nation to look at itself and to apply the same humanity to the people of Palestine.
The sentiment echoed by the Greens.
But it is intolerable and grotesque to suggest the actions of the Israeli government are self-defence. This is retaliation against civilians.
The entire party donning keffiyeh in support of Palestine.
Every 10 minutes, one of those kids, somebody's everything, is killed in Gaza.
As did Te Pāti Māori's Debbie Ngarewa-Paka.
From the river to the sea, Palestine must be free.
As members gave passionate addresses from both perspectives.
2 million people are being held hostage in Gaza right now by Hamas.
We were appalled by what happened in the 1940s, the Holocaust. How then can a nation impose that upon another race of people?
The reactions from opposing sides were just as full of feeling. The Foreign Minister explaining why he hasn't called for an immediate ceasefire.
We will only reach that long-term solution if Israel is assured that Hamas cannot carry out an attack like October 7 ever again.
Winston Peters strayed from condemning atrocities to condemning Te Pāti Māori.
There are people here who know who invaded the Moriori and ruined their peaceful existence, and stop lecturing to us as though somehow they're perfect and the rest of us are not.
The debate pulled back on track by the first leader-to-leader question of the term.
Does the government support calls for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in the war in Gaza? If not, why not?
Well, we would like to see a ceasefire, but in order to achieve a sustainable ceasefire, as the member well knows, both sides actually need to be able to do so.
United in hoping the conflict ends, just divided on how to get there.
Well, kia ora, Jenna. There have been protests across the country for weeks. Why did we finally get this from politicians today?
The short and simple answer is because this was the first opportunity for the Parliament to have this debate. Because of the lag time between the election and the government being formed, today was the first official Parliament that it could be, official day of Parliament in which it could be raised. We have, of course, as a nation, issued public statements condemning the Hamas attacks and also voted for motions at the UN calling for humanitarian pauses. But until until now, the Parliament has not had the opportunity to recognise or debate this conflict because it simply has not been sitting since well before October the 7th. Labour's Damien O'Connor went much further than his party's position today with that label of genocide and the comparison to the Holocaust. This was a tense and intense debate in the House, reflecting the intense feeling among the public.
Political editor Jenna Lynch live from Parliament. Tēnā koe.